All right, welcome back, everyone. Thank you for your participation to this point. The plan from here is we are going to do some small group activity.
Yes.
And I have a few questions to pose to you in the small group context, and then we're going to come back together for a large group discussion. And so I think we'll wrap up the full session by noon, and we'll spend about up to 30 minutes in small groups. And we've got how many groups online? Three groups online. And then I'm just going to ask that the decision maker health authority folks in the room collate over to maybe Rizwan's side, and we can do one group over there as well. And so we're going to put up questions which we're going to get you to think through in your small groups. And those would be here as follows. So what have you learned from the session? What has surprised you? What are some policy implications from this project? And what are specific next steps from a research perspective? So within each of your groups, if you could assign a reporter to report back to the large group, and we will jump into those groups now. Okay, welcome back, everyone. Thank you for the breakout discussions. Someone has a... It's me. All right, good job, Neil. We're just gonna do a quick roundtable, hear what people thought, and let you on your way. So why don't we start with Marianne's group? Marianne, are you reporting for your group? Yeah. Why don't you share with us what your group talked about around these things?
Yeah, so we talked about how even in the last 15 years, there's been a lot of talk about aging population. It's been, for as long as I can remember, we've been talking about how the population is aging. So we've had time to prepare at least a little bit. So it's a bit surprising to kind of be at this point without maybe kind of like ample supports in place for people who are providing care at home. Also talked a bit about creating like more of a spectrum, I guess, with an interim to allow for kind of aging in place. So between staying at home, you're healthy, you're mobile, you can care for yourself versus being in long-term care. For people that are in the middle, creating ability for them to age in place, whether that be through health technologies that let them age in place or programs that allow for potentially caregivers to come in to make sure you can age in place, and how that's probably also going to be beneficial for quality of life for seniors, so that we're not saying, okay, you've had a fall, your mobility is not so good anymore, you're going into long-term care. We can have this interim that, I mean, I don't have the data, but I would imagine that quality of life for such individuals would be improved. Those were our kind of main topics.
Fantastic. Thanks, Marianne. Was there anyone in Marianne's group who wanted to go off mute and share any further thoughts from their group, or or just let us know? Did Marianne capture it, and were you happy with that report back?
She did amazing.
Oh, that's so nice. That's such a good encouragement. All right, let's go to Rashika's group, and I think Laurel was gonna report back from that group.
Yes, correct.
Hi, everybody. Yeah. What I heard in our group was again.
Just wait 1 sec, Laurel. We're just having trouble hearing you. Good.
Hello?
Do volume.
I tried as high as
Okay, Laurel, just try to speak into the computer as best you can. You're just a little soft on our end.
Is this better?
Wow, way better.
Yes, excellent.
Okay, then. What I heard in our group was, again, first, thank you so much for this presentation. And I'm going to repeat what I put in the chat. It's a testament to the need for our healthcare system and our health research system to allow for patients and citizens to be supported in asking fundamental research questions that need to be followed up. So what I heard is in this presentation, the calculation of the time was a very striking data point. The need for a monitoring system or registry for the family providing care, and support given to them not only with knowledge and resources, but looking at their quality of life and the quality of life for the person receiving the care. And then the realization that not every family has the resources to provide a good level of care. And we heard about a pilot project done in the Northwest Territories whereby an hourly wage was given to family members, or other members of the community were recruited and paid to provide that care for residents needing care in their own homes. And then there was the point made about even if a family member is in long-term care, there still needs to be a certain amount of family presence and family time taken up. And whether or not we monitor that in the system as it is, the number of hours that family members provide doing basic care. And then the need for an avenue, and the need for options and choice for both families and people requiring care. So it seems to be an either or now. You're either at home or you're in long-term care, and some sort of bridging services to deal with the gaps between, or for different choices that people might have. And so need to monitor and support quality of care for both the person being cared for and the quality of life for both the person being cared for and the people providing the care. Let me know if there's anything that I left.
It's great. Thank you so much, Laurel. Really appreciate that. Anyone else from your group wanted to jump in, or was that covering it?
I think that covered it, but if anyone else has any thoughts.
Did great. Thank you.
Excellent. Thank you so much. Okay, and then we'll go over to Neil's group. And I think, Neil, you're going to report on behalf of your
Yes.
group online.
Yeah, I will do that. Okay. We had folks in our group who work more in the pediatric side of things with children with medical complexity. And so one of the first things coming out of our group is they totally relate to this and see, huge opportunities for transferability in terms of how parents how parents deal with the tasks of caregiving, and the possibility of testing or replicating the economic framework here in other areas and other populations. So they see a lot of opportunities for that. And we talked a bit about societal expectations, that we do have, that families have responsibility for caregiving. When you have children, there's an expectation that you're going to raise your children. But when you're dealing with people who have complex issues and medical issues beyond the norm, so to speak, that's something that we haven't really resolved. As it comes back to some of the things Sterling said about, what's the fair distribution of responsibility and burden when you have, people whose needs for care and support are beyond the typical need, and how do we deal with that in the family context? People thought from Jenny's call to action, we thought the registry idea made some sense. It resonated with people as a way of sort of identifying where the people are who need or who are doing this kind of work, and so they can be targeted then for some kind of support. And they mentioned an example out of Colorado where they have for children, but also perhaps for adults. We weren't sure on all of the details, but a program in Colorado where they do support family caregivers. They provide them with a degree of training so that they are able to, know what to expect and get into it and be compensated at levels at least comparable to what paid professionals would get for some of the work that they're doing. Apparently that's been a well received and quite successful model there, and there's some examples of that. And we talked a bit about the tendency to kind of look at this as a dichotomous situation. It's people are being cared for at home or people are being cared for in an institution. And it maybe need to kind of rethink sort of the boundaries between that and look a bit more like a flexible model over time where there's people at home, but there are institutional supports being drawn into the home. And similarly, in institutional settings, there are family supports being drawn in there. And how do we sort of combine those together in a policy way to get the best of both of those worlds? And then we close by talking a little bit about knowledge translation, next steps, and everybody was, I think, pretty well agreed that this was powerful mixed methods work. We've got good data, but we've also got really the lived experience, and so that so the power of those stories are influential with policymakers, and I certainly think we don't nearly make enough use of arts-based methods of approaching to the work, and so I personally was well struck by the integration of pictures and drawings and poetry and things like that, and that the sort of that's something, you know, when you think about this presentation in the future, that's what you're going to remember, is those kind of striking bits of things that we had, and that really adds a kind of a whole additional dimension to the way that this is being communicated. And we really think that, Jenny, that your pictures, your drawings ought to be booked there.
Yeah, fantastic. Thanks, Neil. I will not forget the bed in the room. That's common. That's what you said. What does everyone have in common? So well done. Thank you, Neil. Thank you, group online. And then our group in the room. Who would like to share from our end?
I'll have a start. It was a wonderful conversation. We covered a lot of territory. Tried to keep us a little bit on the discussion questions, but we really explored quite a bit more, I think, about the family's experience of caregiving, and there's a lot of representatives from the health authority leadership. And so I think we were coming from a place of curiosity about how things went the way they went. What was, I think, I'll speak for myself, but I think some of my colleagues might have the same thing, lots of curiosity about where the system supports could have been different, and how we could have, how that whole story could have been changed through different interventions of the formal system. But we also started to think about some of the policy alternatives. So what would it take for families to have some sort of remuneration? What could it look like? What are the trade-offs that would come with that in terms of bureaucracy or in terms of accountability? And certainly the role of sort of relationship amongst a community, both informal and formal, I think was a really important discussion we had. I'll pause there in case folks want to add anything else.
I think you covered a lot of it. It was really about, you know, how to help the caregivers with the supports that the system provides. Because unfortunately, if the caregivers at home are not connected with the right person, then some of the services that are available cannot be known. So, you know, because there's the complexity of people living at home and their care needs changing. And as the care needs change, the teams that get involved also change. So it's making sure that our system is configured like you gotta think about how to manage across or coordinate across better. I think that was one of the things that not surprising, but how challenging it can be.
Thank you. Fantastic. Jenny, do you have any closing comments? You weren't prepared for this, so this is more of a, I love doing this to people, just a bit of a off the cuff. What do you have to say at this stage?
Thank you for this invitation to speak. You're gonna get the whole song.
Oh, wow, here we go.
This is the Caregiver Shanty.
And you're gonna sing.
Dum da 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 da. Sing. Oh, that's too high. Sing, you caregivers, sing. We've got good stories to tell. Sing, ye caregivers, sing. Sing out loud in the morning. Dum da 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 da. You badass saints, don't complain. Sing out loud in the morning. Dawn lights the sky and a new day begins. Sing out loud in the morning. Sing, ye caregivers, sing. We've got great stories to tell. Sing, ye caregivers, sing. Sing out loud in the morning. Ba da 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 da. Who would have thought this would be our life? Sing out loud in the morning. What in the world happened last night? Sing out loud in the morning. Sing, ye caregivers, sing. We've got rich stories to tell. Sing, ye caregivers, sing. Sing out loud in the morning. Da 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 da. Put on the kettle, grab the puffer and the pills. Sing out loud in the morning. Empty the bucket, watch it, no spills. Sing out loud in the morning. Sing, ye caregivers, sing. We've got rich stories to tell. Sing, ye caregivers, sing. Sing out loud in the morning. Dum ba da da bum ba da da. Mom, you're worth it, we won't let you down. Sing out loud in the morning. And we'll be here till the last day comes round. Sing out loud in the morning. Sing, ye caregivers, sing. We've got rich stories to tell. Sing, ye caregivers, sing. Sing out loud in the morning. Dum da 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 da. Sometimes it feels like we're all alone. Sing out loud in the morning. But there's millions of us. We'll get the job done. Sing out loud in the morning. Sing, ye caregivers, sing. We've got rich stories to tell. Sing, ye caregivers, sing. Sing out loud in the morning. Sing with me in the morning.
Well, Jenny, I wasn't thinking that was what was going to happen, but that was amazing. Thank you both very much. Just such a treat and a pleasure to have you here and to have shared your journey with us and to have been on this journey with you through the research. Thank you for all who have participated today, both in the room and online. We will be shortly sending out a summary of the discussions as well as the slides from the two presentations. And I just encourage any of you online and certainly those in the room to stay in touch. So we will include in what we send out my email and Jenny's email, and just want to use this as an opportunity to just build and grow, and whether it's specific research projects or a community of practice or a network to share, we're game for any of those. And yes, we will share out the comments that came in through the chat as well. So,
And I did have something. I
Yes.
wanted to say thank you to SPOR Evidence Alliance.
yes,
Because without that opportunity to articulate a question and to fund this work and to bring your team, you guys on in and to allow us to work together, none of this would have happened.
Yep.
And it's an amazing thing.
it
So
is a great resource, absolutely.
great gratitude for that.
Thanks, Jenny. Great stuff. With that, we'll close the morning and wish you all a safe rest of the day, and we'll be in touch. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, online people. Yes.
Thank you.
Oh, yeah.